Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
I met my husband in high school, and along with him came my brother in law, Jackson. Now, Jackson was a grade younger than us, and the fact that my husband and I started off as friends, Jackson, I, and my now husband would hang out a lot. We were practically like best friends all throughout college, and even now, in a sense, I can still say we were very, very close. But of course, things always change from time to time, and I'd be lying if I said things have not changed at all. Now, if they've changed for the better or the worse, I'll let you all be the judge of that through this post. But back to the topic. Jackson, I, and my now husband, Oliver, became like the trio everyone would know about, and our bond was stronger than ever. Hell, I still remember how devastated we were during graduation when we realized that we wouldn't have Jackson for a year with us. Those were truly good times. Well, it'd be an incomplete story if I said Jackson didn't come to our city and we started living in the same apartment complex a year after. That is when Oliver and I fell in love with each other. Now that I think about it, I feel like we had been in love all along, our friendship, but because with Jackson around, we never knew we shared that bond. But well, we started dating, and I'd say things just got better from there on because now we were able to do all the adult things party, have even more friends, and things were just a blast as we did all the college kid things. Then Sarah came into the picture through one of our other friend groups, and Oliver and I could just tell the bond between Jackson and Sarah was different. There was one problem here, though, and it was the fact that I knew Sarah had a pretty bad reputation. She had cheated on her boyfriend from high school, and Oliver and I both knew, and even Jackson did. I mean, the word was all around, but the fact that neither Jackson nor Oliver and I said nothing gave Sarah the green flag and made Jackson the perfect prey. Now, just like many of you guys, even I was left wondering why Jackson wanted to be with someone who was a liar. And I think the answer to that could be Jackson's past toxic relationship, which affected his self esteem quite a bit. Now, it is needless to say that Oliver and I, directly and indirectly, dropped hints to Jackson, telling him that he didn't have to be in this relationship. But the fact that Sarah didn't do anything that was visibly bringing him down, we couldn't really do much ahead of that. And well, of course, Sarah and Jackson continued to date all throughout college. And since I knew both Oliver and I had to accept Sarah as our own, we became pretty close to her. Especially I did, since besides her controversial opinions on cheating and her actions, we were a lot similar. So our friendly distance with Sarah persisted all throughout undergrad school as we heard more and more bizarre things about her. So much so that we couldn't even understand at one point if it all was a lie or the truth because in front of us, Sarah was the sweetest, kindest angel. So we're not sure what to do, and it is right after graduation when the first bombshell is dropped on us, Jackson, Oliver, and I. All of us. Sarah is pregnant. Now, of course, this news should be a pleasant surprise for us, but the fact that neither Jackson nor Sarah wanted kids, this sudden revelation where Sarah was so excited to be pregnant, make us aunts and uncles and be a mom, was shocking to say the least. And need I say that Jackson was mad, head over heels for her. This man dropped his plans for pursuing a master's and got a job to support and marry Sarah and their upcoming baby. Eventually, Sarah gave birth to my nephew, and one after the other, we got married to our respective partners, and there wasn't much happening in this phase. Well, in their background, yeah, there was a lot that Sarah was doing to mess up poor Jackson's life, but in front of it all, we all were a happy family until this happened. It was a regular evening. I was cleaning around the house, doing boring adult things as I saw my phone ring, and it's none other than Jackson. It's pretty late in the evening at this point, so I'm shocked when I pick up and he's acting like we're supposed to talk about something. So, after a couple of moments of silence, when he asks me when he's supposed to come pick up his son, I'm confused and tell him that he's not with me. Long, awkward silence ensues, and I guess that gives Jackson the confirmation that I'm not joking about all this. So both of us are scared now and starting to worry before Jackson tells me that he'll figure it out before hanging up. That is when I receive a message from Sarah asking me if I could cover for her because apparently she's preparing for a surprise for Jackson along with her best friend Lucy. I'm not sure why, but all of this gives me a weird feeling in my stomach, and I tell Jackson to maybe check in with Sarah's friends, hinting at him to call Lucy. And when he gets back at me, to let me know that Lucy had informed him that Sarah had told her she was actually out with me. More confusion ensued, and Jackson almost began panicking. He didn't say anything else, though, and simply just hung up, telling me that he was going to drive around to see what was up because at that point, Sarah stopped picking up her calls. Now, I haven't received the details in the middle, but a couple of hours after, I find my husband rushing out of the house and Sarah starting to spam my phone, cussing me out for being a bad friend. Now, I'm lost, confused, and don't know what to do. WITA? Okay, so Jackson has moved in with us, and there is definitely something gone wrong. He seems devastated and just not in the capacity to speak to Oliver, and I have just given him his space. As for my nephew, Jackson wants us to pick him up tomorrow from Sarah, who has moved in with her mother in law. Jackson hasn't said anything to us about Sarah. And Sarah isn't saying anything except for piling up on me herself and getting her family to pile up on me for ruining the family. Hell, she's even had my in laws onto the bandwagon to blame me until Jackson and Oliver both shut them down. Honestly, I can't get myself to give a shit about what Sarah has to say about me. My top concern currently is Jackson and my nephew, and I'm just hoping that they'll be all right. It's been a week since all of this went down, and Jackson finally seemed like in the condition to speak, partly because of my nephew and his brightness that has managed to uplift the entire household, even during such a dark time. He's truly a sweet angel. Well, back to the update. Jackson told me everything that happened during that evening, and boy, was it heartbreaking. As soon as Jackson and I hung up the call, Jackson began driving around mindlessly around his locality to see if Sarah was anywhere. And he was in utter shock and disbelief when he saw Sarah walking out of a hotel with no other than the high school ex she had cheated on with. And when he didn't see his son along with her, he immediately got out of the car to ask her where he was and was in disgust when he found him in the car alone. That is when he made up his mind. He knew he couldn't live with this woman and told her that they were over, there and then. Poor Jackson began breaking down the moment he confessed all of this, and it was heartbreaking to say the least. This man truly loved Sarah, and apparently, according to him, he had multiple people from college let him know on multiple occasions about them seeing Sarah together with that dude. It was truly saddening, but at the same time, infuriating because Jackson could truly do better than the piece of trash Sarah is. It then made sense to me why Sarah blamed me for everything. I mean, her horrible planning still doesn't make any sense to me since she's quite literally a serial cheater. Regardless, though, currently, we're just letting Jackson overview his options. We've told him that we're going to be there for him regardless of what step he takes, and hopefully, he sees his worth and takes the right decision. It's been a while since I last updated. We've been helping Jackson to get his orders in place, and it's been quite a process. Thankfully, though, Jackson took all the right steps this time, and the biggest of them was the fact that he filed for divorce and kicked Sarah out of the house that they lived in. Everyone from Sarah's side has been unfortunately piling up on me and him, both, even though they clearly know what went down. Jackson has truly been a trooper through this by standing up not just for himself, but for his son too, who he knows doesn't belong to him, but who else, rather than an emphatic person like him, knows the value of the fact that relationships go beyond blood. At the end of the day, I'm just happy that Jackson and my nephew are okay. Jackson has a lot to look forward to in his life without Sarah, but unfortunately, I don't think I can say the same about Sarah. Regardless, though, I would like to thank you all for your amazing support and advice. NTA OP has rightly stated someone like Jackson can truly do better, and I'm glad it was OP who indirectly exposed the lies of Sarah. NTA, Sarah is a horrible person, and although it is unfortunate that it took Jackson so long to get out of that relationship, I'm glad he did. I, 39 female, have no children, but my younger brother Tim, 36 male, and his wife Jessica, 36, had two girls, Polly, 20 female, and Lauren, 17 female. Tim has a decent job with benefits, but he doesn't make a ton of money. And I've always tried to find a balance between being generous to the girls as their aunt and not spoiling them or making them feel like everything in life was going to be handed to them. Polly has grown into a responsible, self directed person. She did well in high school. When she got into college, I told her that I would pay for what her scholarship didn't cover. She did great on the MCAT and now wants to go to medical school, which I have already privately told her that I will pay for. Lauren seems rudderless and is doing relatively poorly in high school, to the point where she isn't going to get scholarships in college since she'll probably have about a 2.5 GPA, and that's being optimistic. Several months ago, Polly told me Lauren was bragging to her friends that I was going to drop about $60,000 a year for her to attend college, and she was leaning toward a fashion design program. I gently told Lauren that I wasn't comfortable doing that due to her disinterest in school thus far, her unwillingness to explore possible career options, lack of any backup plans, and her inability to tell me why she wanted to do fashion design other than because it seemed cool. She got angry and said that if I had paid Polly's way, I should pay hers as well, or cut her a check for what it costs to send Lauren to college so that she can travel. My sister-in-law has since called me because Lauren has done the math on what Polly's college and medical school costs will be and has said that I'm not giving Lauren the same chance to succeed. At the time, I said that Lauren was able-bodied, neurotypical, and that her interest in school seemed only to be because her friends are thinking about it. So I wasn't going to pay for her to party through college and either earn poor grades or drop out entirely. But if I don't treat her the same as I did Polly, WIBTA, NTA, it seems to me that you are effectively giving your older niece a scholarship based on merit. Tell your brother and his wife that when Lauren has earned a scholarship from you, you will consider giving her one, and make it very clear exactly what she has to do to earn it and keep it. I hope that both your brother and sister-in-law realize that neither girl is entitled to a dime from you and that they really need to be extremely grateful for what you are willing to contribute. NTA, everyone seems to forget whose money it is. Yours. On one hand, it would be unfair to treat them differently. On the other, that's a lot of money for someone who isn't sure what they want to do, nor have they taken school seriously. My best advice would be to make her get her GPA up. Whether that means taking HS summer courses or getting tutored, whatever works. If she wants college assistance, she can work for it. Pay for summer classes to get her GPA up, cheaper than 4 years of college. And if that goes well, pay for 2 semesters at community college. It'd be less than 10,000 altogether. Then go from there. Don't be pressured into helping someone who hasn't worked for it, though. NTA. You want to treat your nieces equitably rather than identically. And treating them equitably means helping them get established in life. It doesn't mean throwing your money at them as if they've earned it by virtue of their DNA. You don't have to pay for anything for Lauren right now, while she's unfocused. It sounds like what you were looking for from Polly when you helped her with school was a plan for what she wanted to do and how to get there, and sustained effort to make it happen. You didn't pay for her schooling, you supplemented her own efforts. You can look for the same thing from Lauren. When she finds something she's actually willing to work for and puts effort into making it happen, you can supplement her as well. For Lauren, that might look like matching her savings from full time work while she made up her mind. Maybe that helps with upgrading or skills training. Maybe seed money to buy into or set up her own business, trades, aesthetics, real estate. It's your money and you owe her nothing, but you might feel better about saying under these circumstances rather than never. I just suggest looking for circumstances that are reasonable and purposeful for Lauren as an individual. For context, I'm a 19-year-old female and my half sister is 36. She has a partner, 39, male, as well as 3 kids, 14 female, 13 male, and 5 female. We have never been close due to our large age gap, so growing up, I had felt like an only child. My half sister had always lived in her own home, whilst I always lived with our mother, who was a single parent. In September of last year, I left for my first year of university, but I practically dropped out when my mother was diagnosed with cancer and returned home. She passed in June. My mother did not leave a will, so it was decided that her life insurance, pensions, and money from the sale of her car would be split evenly between me and my sister. That all went according to plan, leaving only her apartment. The apartment was rented from a social housing association. It was decided that I would succeed the tenancy because otherwise I would have had nowhere to stay during the summer. My sister reassured me at the beginning of my tenancy that everything in the apartment belonged to me and that I could do whatever I saw fit with the furniture once I gave up the apartment and moved back to my university city. Side note. I grew up in that apartment, and all the furniture and appliances in the house me and my mother accumulated together. My sister never lived there nor contributed towards anything. Fast forward a bit, and my sister asks if I could give her the fridge, washing machine, and my bedroom furniture, all brand new. I told her that I would be more than happy to let her take them if she gives me a hand with clearing my apartment out. I also asked her kindly if she could upload some photos of my furniture to Facebook Marketplace because I didn't have Facebook. She agreed. Yesterday, she texted me and told me that a family was interested. I told her to give them my contact details, and the family came to my house today and took everything minus the brand new appliances, furniture that my sister wanted, paying me £280. I told my sister, and she demanded that I give her half of the money, lecturing me on the fact that we agreed to halve everything. I told her no way, because the furniture I sold was mine. My sister ended up blowing up at me, telling me that I have lost all self-respect and that I must pay. I stayed firm, so she ended the conversation by telling me that she's disgusted with me and that she couldn't believe that I would do this to her and to not contact her again. Cut to the evening of the same day, her partner texted me. He threatened me with court, boasting that nothing in the apartment was mine and that everything actually belonged to them. He also spouted that they were going to call the police because by keeping the money, I was stealing from them. I told him that he was wrong, which made him even more aggressive. He threatened to come to the house and began insulting me. Am I the a-hole? NTA, she never lived there and supposedly gave it to you. She has no say over it. If she wanted this stuff, she would have taken it by now. Hell, now keep the other stuff you promised her. They will pay more in court fees and for a lawyer than the money and stuff is worth. Teach them a lesson about greed. NTA, I'm sorry such a small sum has brought out such an ugly side of your sister. That being, if everything is half yours as well, force the sale of the items she has requested, split the sum evenly, and you'll likely walk with more cash. And she gets just enough to maybe buy one of the items she would have gotten for free. If you're feeling generous, I'd let her know her half of the money from that sale is going towards the items she requested but didn't buy you out of. She can either get the items or the money, but not both. If this was me, I'd sell everything, give her half, and never speak to her.